So we'll start right now. So I want to welcome everyone to the inaugural Clients First podcast, and you're probably listening on Facebook or YouTube. And our first guest is a phenomenal lender. He is extraordinarily adept at problem solving. His name is Brian Jones. I have worked with him. People love him. Clients love him. And he is going to tell us a little bit about his background, and he is going to tell you what you need to know to be successful getting a loan, understanding what the new rules are in our new economy. So Brian, I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Sure. Hi, Meridian. Thank you so much for having me on today. Yeah, I tell you what, we're living in some pretty interesting times, but there's also a lot of positives out there that we'll cover with you. So a little bit about me. Of course, my name is Brian Jones. I'm a branch manager slash vice president with Meridian Bank Mortgage. I've been in the mortgage industry for going on 16 years now. Been doing this for quite a while, seen a lot of things in this industry, which of course, if you're in it for any period of time, that's one of the great things about this industry is it never gets monotonous, always changes, which is good, I think, sometimes. A little bit about Meridian Bank. Meridian Bank, our core group, and that's the Maryland Mortgage Group that I'm referring to. We've been together, the core group. We've been bought and reacquired by different banks and so forth, but our core group has been together for 15, 16 years now, which is amazing. It's amazing to have that type of relationship with an organization or a group, and I think that's one of our strengths. We work very well together at satisfying clients' needs. I have a great group of processors, underwriters, upper management. We really try to go above and beyond for the client to make things happen for them. Some of our specialties, we specialize in first-time home buying programs. One of the things that makes us amazing is that we are one of the few banks that I know of that pretty much offers the majority of first-time home buying programs in Maryland. Some banks do a little bit here and there. We do pretty much the majority of all of them, all the counties. So we're very experienced at assisting first-time home buyers. That's really our bread and butter. We love first-time home buyers. We are 100% committed to working with that demographic, especially, and we love them. Even right now, where there's a lot of changes happening in the industry, a lot of lenders are kind of veering off from that business. We are still very optimistic about the first-time home buying market. We, compared, I would say, to a lot of lenders, we have made some changes with this COVID-19 protocol, but I think we've made less than most lenders. So that's a positive thing. I'll give you a little bit of background, folks, on what's happening right now. So there's a lot of questions and what are banks doing and what does this mean for the industry? What's happening right now? And I'll give you guys a macro viewpoint on that, what's happening as an industry. And then I'll also let you know more specifically what we at Meridian are doing during this, let's just say, tumultuous time period. So as a general explanation as to what's happening, of course, this COVID-19 virus, it of course has taken the world by storm, especially the financial markets. We've never quite seen anything like this. So that's the issue there. Is a lot of this is kind of a day by day reacting to our current climate. What you're seeing across the board, because of course we have a lot of things happening right now. A lot of people, of course, are laid off or furloughed and not working. So the industry has taken several steps that are out of the norm. One of the biggest steps is, of course, the way that we have to verify employment. Normally, on a transaction, your employment is verified several times throughout the transaction. A written form is typically filled out and sent over to the employer. The employer fills that out, we get that back. And then within 5 to 10 days of settlement, we typically call to do a verbal verification of employment to verify that someone is still employed. And that's just a simple phone call, typically, a few days before settlement to a week to 10 days, just verifying that someone is still employed. Well, whereas we would do that 5 to 10 days before settlement, now we're typically doing that verbal again within 2 days of settlement just to verify that someone is still employed. So that's one of the bigger things right now. It's just, as an industry, we are doing everything we can to verify that someone is still employed, to also protect them. The other thing as an industry that I get a lot of calls about, credit score, Brian. What's happening with credit score guidelines? I'm hearing all these different things, and for consumers like yourselves out there, folks, this part can be very confusing for you. And I get where all the confusion is coming in, because this is something that is honestly bank lender specific. As a whole, the industry has raised credit score guidelines right now. But one lender may be higher than another lender. So let me kind of give you a generalization on that and also explain where we are on that. So as a whole, most lenders, the industry we've seen in the last several weeks, in general, most banks that I know of are not doing the 620s and lower anymore right now. What we've seen is a general consensus to most lenders are going to that 640. In some cases, some lenders are going to 660, 680. I know at Meridian, we are still doing the 640s. We will go down to a 640 credit score. There may be a couple of overlays in there, meaning that a lender may say, you know what, we're fine with a 640, but the person's debt ratio cannot go over this amount, or we want to make sure that the borrower, if they're under a 660 or under a 680 in certain cases, the client may need to have 2 months, 3 months of reserves. Reserves, folks, are monthly payments. That's basically how many monthly payments you have in some type of a liquid or non-liquid vehicle. It could be 401k, it could be in a checkings or savings account. Essentially, what lenders and underwriters are wanting to do right now is to check to see that if you are in those 640 to sometimes 680 credit tier bucket, that someone has a well to go to, God forbid, in case they were to lose their job. 401k, is this a well they can go to tap into in case tough times hit? Checking or saving. So that's the biggest thing. Most lenders are 640, some are 660, some are 680 or higher. And then a lot of lenders, I know we are, if you're under that 680 bucket, in several cases, we are asking that clients have 2 to 3 months of reserves to protect them. God forbid, in case they, something were to happen where they are furloughed for a period of time. We are, this is not an exciting time because there's a lot of health issues going on. We're all working remotely right now. We're kind of cooped up and going a little stir crazy right now. But the one thing that we at Meridian are excited about is we do see growth opportunity in this crisis. Folks, this is an unpleasant time for everybody. But I think right now we need to still, there's opportunity in every storm. Where the opportunity right now is that for us, we think is where a lot of lenders, for a period of time, or I don't know how long this is going to last for, but they're not doing some of the first time home buying programs. Some lenders are requiring 700 credit scores plus. We see an opportunity in that. We see an opportunity to really pick up a large share of the market of first time home buyers. We're still doing all the programs. We have not ceased doing any of the bond programs. We see this as a great time to really link up with first time home buyers that can buy. And so that's what we're focusing on right now. We're focusing on spreading the word. We're still lending. We're still doing all the programs. We're optimistic that at some point in time, we honestly think this storm is going to end. And it will. At some point in time, this will end. Of course, we cannot say how long it's going to take or when this will go back to normal. Of course, we hope it's yesterday. But, the positive side of all this is that for people that can buy right now, people that, are employed and of course, financially, it's a good time for you to buy. We are here for you and we're still lending to you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much, Brian, for coming to be my first guest on Clients First. My name is Meridian Foreman. I'm a realtor with Taylor Properties, and I have closed loans with Brian. And I'm going to be bringing you more specialists like Brian. This is going to be very local, market specific. So questions that you may have for Brian, you have his information has been on screen. You can contact him directly. You have his email, you have his cell phone. And if you have any questions for me, there'll be a link for you to talk to me. And I want to thank you again, Brian.
Thank
And
you so much, Mary, for having me. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. See you all again next week. Bye-bye.